Now, this was certainly big news this spring. The Supreme Court overturning the federal sports gambling law, which means betting on your favorite teams could be coming right here to Michigan. Tom Sinus joining us to discuss the pros and the cons of this ruling.
So here's one thing that's really interesting about this ruling is how did we get here?
Yeah.
Well, it comes from the 10th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which isn't one that most people remember off the top of their head. It stands for this principle. The federal government cannot what's called commandeer the state legislatures. They can't tell the state legislatures what to do and what not to do. Okay, so what happened? Well, in 1992, the federal government passed a law that said to the states, you cannot legalize sports gambling, okay? This is totally different than the federal government itself outlawing sports gambling. It simply told the states, you can't make it legal in your state. Well, a challenge was brought, and it made it all the way to the United States Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled this spring that this federal statute violated the 10th Amendment. It was commandeering of the state government. The federal government can't tell the states that they can't pass sports betting laws. So, where does that leave us right now? Well, and we're talking about this right now because we're kind of on summer recess in the Michigan legislature, and that's where this is all going to go. Congress in Washington could pass a law that outlaws sports gambling, and that would be within their purview under the United States Constitution. But many people following this issue say that's not likely to happen. All right, we're seeing lots of gridlock in Washington, and there's a lot of vested interest in gambling. So if that doesn't happen, then the question is going to be, what is each individual state going to have to do? Because the states haven't had to make this decision, because up until the spring they were told you can't do it. So where are we in Michigan right now? Well, there's a package, I think, or maybe 7 or 8 different bills that will attempt to legalize sports gambling in Michigan in different ways. The legislative session that we're in right now ends at the end of 2018. So whether any of these bills are passed would require passage by the House and Senate and signature by the governor by the end of the year. And what I think we're all going to be struggling with is, are we going to do this? If we're going to do it, what are we going to allow? Are we going to allow people to bet on their kids' Little League game? I mean, I mean, you'd hope not, right? Are we going to allow people to bet on college games, right? You can start to see that unless the state steps in here, one way or another, we're not going to have any structure for what to do. Because right now, the Supreme Court has said this is really up to the states. And so for our state, I think that, well, the future is really going to be unwritten. It's going to be written either this month or later this year or next year.
Interesting point. The state does stand to benefit from some tax dollars on the gambling.
And that's a huge deal. Yes, the states stand to benefit from tax dollars. And of course, the networks. There's more. The more you gamble, the more you view. The more you view, the more ad revenue there is. So there's all these vested interests in this very contentious issue. And now here we are in the great unknown.
All right, we shall see. People need to track you down. Where do they find you, Tom?
They can find us online at www.sinusdramus.com. Give us a call, West Michigan, 616-301-3333, or shoot us an email at info@sinusdramus.com.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Derek.